In this video, we will continue with our chat bubbles UI. Let's go to our browser and go inside the VS Code. Now we need to add a block for the audio message. So let's go inside this Safari and inside this selection, let's go and select play, and we need pause as well. We have pause, and we need to select for deliver. We need to select the check, or it is the delivered tick. Just go through real quick. And actually I forgot the name of that icon. We need the tick talk. Here is the undelivered version, and if we could check for the name, remove done, it is done. Here we go, one double tick and not delivered tick. And we need for error and retry or reload, or maybe refresh. We will use this one. If the message is not sent, we need a button to reload somehow. So let's generate, go inside the reference block, click and copy the link and paste link inside index.html and save. Now we need the play button. As we can see inside our reference, we have this play button. Let's go and add div class name button, or maybe we can actually add a button. And for the play pause, we have play arrow and pause. For the pause, I will add icon play underscore arrow with S24 for the font size 24, and for S24 we already have that inside our props. So let's save. We need to add a class name of rel, because this button will be absolute and absolute center. Save. And for the props, we have ABC and we have ABS for top left center. Let's go in our block. Here is the play icon, and for the media we need to add that media, and the media we need to pass the type so that we can actually figure out if we are dealing with either one of these types, that is image, video, audio. So for the video we will add and video, and for video we need to add a class that is play, or maybe let's call it pp for play and pause dot pp. Border should be 0 pixels, and we will change rest. Here we need to add a background of RGBA, that is 0, 0 and 0.8. And the color should be white. The width should be 30 pixels and 30 pixels. Let's add a border radius of 20 pixels, and we need a border of 1 pixels FFF solid, or maybe we need to change it to 2 pixels and change the width and height to 40 pixels. And for the background opacity, let's change it to 4 so that we can see through it, or maybe 5. So let's copy and paste inside pp and save. Here we go. If you have noticed, if the video is the media type, then its poster is blurred out. We can add that effect too. Let's go inside props, and for the blur we need to create an media thing, and for that let's create a mixin. So go inside props, and under the flex let's add mixin, and we need to call it blur. And for the blur we will add amount. The default amount should be 2 pixels, or maybe 2 for now, and we will add filter blur $amount and save. And this way we can change the dynamic value for this mixin. Go back inside app.scss, and for the video we need to blur out the poster, but for that we need to add another div with the similar class and style. Just quickly remove that. And we need to change the class name to poster and save. By the way, let's change the same thing to the div so that we can keep it similar, or maybe well, let's call it poster and save. And instead of poster, here we need to add source. Let's save, and we are back on track. Go inside app.scss, and instead of div, just choose the poster. And for the poster we will add class name blur, or maybe we can call it blur photo, poster photo. So let's add dot photo, and the photo should be and video dot photo. We will add at include blur, and the dollar amount should be to, for now let's save and go and check. Here we go. And for the poster, sorry, we need to add the width and height as well. Let's add and save so that we can access the poster back, inspect. And for the poster we have this width, height, and for the photo we have width and height as well. But for the blur, instead of just 2, let's add 2 pixel, and 2 pixels is good by default. So let's add 2 pixels and save. Here we go. Now we have a nice blur on our video. But for the poster of image, we have background image of, and let's quickly add the same class to our div inside the image block. Great. Now we need to add the audio block. Let's go, and for the audio we need create a quick player. We will change it to a separate component later. So let's add type equals audio, and we will add player, or maybe audio player. And for the audio player we need a couple of things. First of all, we need flex AIC, and we need a button for play and pause. We have play arrow. We need to change the font size to 18. We don't need absolute or absolute center. And we need a div. If we can go inside block, oh sorry, I need to check for WhatsApp web, and let's add audio message. And for images we have a nice audio message, and it has a play icon, it has a nice slider, and the image of the sender, and it has duration and the timestamp. So let's go inside and create a div and a class name of controls flex call, and inside the flex call or controls we need one more div, that is slider. And for this slider we need one more div, and inside that div we need knob. We will change it to a separate component as well. I'm talking about this slider, by the way. And we need one more div, and this div has a flex and AIC as well. And for the flex, we need h2 class name, and we need the duration 00 and 15 for example, and S12 C77. Great. And we need one more div, and that should be the image. So let's quickly add the image. Div class name equals UDP, and it has image source, and the image source should be DP, and the DP is coming from the chat messages block, chat block, and we have the user if it is sending. So inside user, let's add a DP, and we will add that to DP as well. Let's save and go inside WhatsApp clone, and here we go. Now for the media, we have height 220 pixels. We need to change this height, and dot audio, we need to add height to auto, not important. Save, and the height, oh, just remove that. Here we go. And for this player, we will add audio player. Audio player, and for audio player, we have PP again. We have controls, and inside control we have slider, and inside slider we have knob, and then we have the UDP. We need to add a width of 30 pixels and a height of 30 pixels, and background will be hash f1 f1. Border radius should be 50%, and overflow should be hidden in case we are messed up with the image. And for the image, we will just choose width 100% and height 100%, and save. And let's add a border radius of 50% as well. Great. So for the audio player, I guess we are not talking audio player. Inside audio player, and oh, I messed up with the wrong bracket. Here we go, and save. Here we go again. And for the controls, I will use flex one. This way we have the entire width. And for slider, let's use a height of 4 pixels, and background will be DDD. And for the knob, I will use width 20 pixels, height 20 pixels, border radius is 20 pixels, and we need to add top 50%, transform translate by negative 50%, and we need to create this property inside props for the absolute. Let's create dot abc aby, because we need to center it vertically. And let's add that knob abs and aby and save. And for the left I will use 0 pixels for now. Slider and knob, if I have knob, great. We have width, height. Oh sorry, I need to add a background of $theme color and save. And it says I don't have any theme color. Let's quickly create a new file, call it colors.scss. And for the theme color, let's quickly create a variable theme color, and the theme color is actually our color for the header, chat head. Where is the chat head? Inbox green. Here we go. Just use this color, we will change it later. Sorry, colors.scss, and here we go. So include that color.scss, add import colors.scss and save. And here we go again. So let's inspect and select the slider knob, and we have not added, I guess. Knob background $theme color. Let's reload it. Here we go. Now we need to reduce it to 16 and 16 pixels, or maybe 12 is good. Yeah. Now let's inspect the pp, add a width 20 pixels or maybe 30 and height of 30 pixels, and the font size should be 20. Actually we have not created the font size, so quickly add 18 pixels or maybe 21 is good. So let's add this one to pp and just remove the font size because we are going to create that font size. S20 font size 20 pixels, save. And for chat bubble, add S20. Here we go. And for the block, if we see again, it is vertically center, so we need to add border radius 10 pixels. Let's add a margin bottom, and here we go. I guess we should create or use it in other way. Let's leave it for now. And for the controls, let's use a padding of 5 pixels horizontally or maybe 10 pixels horizontally. Great. Padding 0 pixels and 10 pixels. And for the pp, add a border radius of 30 pixels and background will be white, or maybe you can add a color of $theme color if you want, but I guess black is great. Okay, here we go. Now let's change the slider margin bottom to 10 pixels, or maybe 6 pixels is good. Margin bottom, let's use 5 pixels instead. And inside props we have S11 and 12, so add that S11 Good. And if you have noticed, inside the audio block we don't have any username or text and all that. So let's go inside bubble and let's add we have this media, so let's add if sorry media and media dot type equals not equals audio. And but this way we will lose name for all the blocks except the media blocks. So we need to check for media and we need to check for media type, but you can see it is actually giving the error. This way we can just chain the check, because this question mark checks for the media if media even exists. So we have now removed the username for the audio, and we will use same for this temp media dot type not equals audio. And now we have this thing removed. Now let's go inside the balloon, and we now need to remove this padding because we don't need to keep adding the margin from right. Great. We need to position absolute this temp because the text is all the way bottom of the balloon. So let's go and inside chat bubble and media where type is audio, and we have a type of video, and here we have a type of image. Now for the knob we need to remove this flex, add absolute and add extra and save. This way we have now vertically aligned the slider, and we can remove the bottom margin safely. And for the controls extra we will use bottom 3 pixels. Let's start with 3 pixels. Inspect. I guess we should go with 6 minus 8 pixels. And we need stamp. And you can see we are actually hiding the text, so we need to change the media, and it is overflow hidden. This is why it is actually targeting the hidden thing. So let's remove that overflow hidden, and we need to add the stamp because we are going to add a tick and the stamp is 8:44 p.m. We will use STMP, and for the STMP I will use flex1, justify content, flex and save. And for chat bubble, just remove the absolute. And for the duration, we will use flex1. And for the extra, we will use left 0 pixels, right 0 pixel. This way we will be able to acquire the width. And let's go to width, and for stamp we will use text align right. And for extra, instead of left and right, should be 40 pixels. If you are getting confused, I am typing one value and then changing it constantly, then you should be aware that I am coding it live, not it is like pre-planned or just copied from somewhere, and I am looking at that and I am typing. I am actually creating it right from the scratch. This way I am trying to improve the code again and again. And for the PP, let's change it to S24. Great. Now we need to add the done message. Let's add, or maybe we will add it later, but for now we have this chat message for audio, a video, image, and we can add one more chat message for video, and here we will use a text as well. Let's quickly add. Here is the description of this video. This way we will be able to add a text as well. Great. Now there is an issue with our text only block. We need to deal it with as well. Let's quickly see our preview. You can see it has a padding from the below thing. So we need to add chat bubble, and for the stamp we need to add four pixels, 6 pixels, and for bottom, top right bottom should be 12 pixels and left should be 6 pixels. Let's inspect. And for text we can add margin bottom to 10 pixels. This way we will be able to add the timestamp, and the timestamp should be 11 pixel. 11 font size. Text, we have margin bottom 20 pixels. So just remove this padding and add a text margin bottom to 20 pixels. Here we go. Now we have nicely integrated the chat, and we need to reduce the padding for text, and that is we are using 6 pixels or 4 pixels. This way we will be able to change the padding of text from left and right. So let's add padding and 0 pixels. Great. Inspect. Close the inspect. Now I have just noticed one more thing. I have forgot to add the border radius from this corner and the bottom right corner. So we can inspect from the user box. I have used this border radius and I need to add it to the chat head. Border radius top right should be 3 pixels. Let's go inside Chatbox chat head. Instead of top, we have top right. And for the sandbox, we have top right 0 and bottom should be 3 pixels. This way we will be able to keep the border radius from all the 4 sides. And you can easily create a variable for the border radius. So let's create a variable called let's call it MBR for messenger border radius, and it has a value of 3 pixels. So let's add messenger border radius should be $MBR, and here is $MBR. And for chat head we have $MBR, and for inbox user box we have $MBR, and we need to add it to sandbox MBR. We have chat and save. Now if we change to, let's say, 10 pixels, it will keep 10 pixels from all the sides, and the chat head, the user head, and the sandbox bottom right. So let's change it back to 4. Let's keep 4. Great. Now we have a video message, a text message, an audio message, an image message. Now we need to create multiple images block. So let's go inside chat, and if we change the image, and we should check for the ID 6, we have text. Just remove the text for now, and inside the image we need an array instead of source. So we will use an array, and I will add id equals to xyz. And for chat bubble, let's go, and it is adding a background color. Let's quickly remove the pp, media audio pp. Let's change it to RGBA 0 and save. This way we will be able to change it. And for the image, if we reload, it is now adding an image, but it is adding from the first image. Now I need to add or check for the number of images. Let's change it to array as well. Now go inside chat bubble, and for the chat bubble I will use for image. We need to create a couple of classes. If we are on single image, there is a way to create multiple blocks. For example, we can create a grid. This way we will be able to create an automatic grid. So let's go and check for source.map image equals div, and let's close it. This way we will try to add image. If we click inspect, and we have two photos, and as we have overflow hidden, it is actually overflowing the hidden value. So I need to create a multiple photo as a grid, and for that we can just create a class of grid, just like flex. Let's add flex, grid, and call it display grid. This way we will be able to add grid to grid to poster, and now we have two blocks, but we need to change it to columns, and we need to use a plus sign if we are exceeding the 4 blocks. Let's create inspect and add grid column, add 3, and we can change grid row to 2. Okay, we need to add grid template columns, and for columns I will use a 50%, and grid template rows 50% and 50%, and for the column gap we will use 2 pixels, and for the row gap I will use 2 pixels as well, and we need to add column count 2 and row count. I'll keep column count for now. Okay, now the problem is we have to deal with the column count. If we remove the column count, it automatically uses the column if we are the we have more than image. So let's change this column count to and remove chat blown media, and we have audio, just close it. We have poster, we need to check for and grid, and just remove the columns count for now. Just save. Here we go. And for the grid, we need to check if we really want to add a grid. So let's check for source.length is length greater than 1. Then we need to add for grid. There we go. This way, if we are going more than one block, then we are adding the grid class. We need to check for the count. So inside chat bubble, we can use grid dash source dot length and save. This way we can check for grid 2 columns or 3 columns. So let's use add dot grid 2, or maybe just use the C. So we need to check for a C2, and the C2 should be 2 columns. Otherwise we need to ignore the column thing. Great. Now just remove and reload. And for the photo, we have border radius, and for grid and dot photo, we will use border radius of 0 pixels. This way we can remove the image, border radius, inspect, poster, photo, and we need to check for C2 photo. We have border radius 0 pixels. Here we go. And we need to check for the grid template. Just remove the grid template and we are done. And just remove the grid template rows and we are back on track. We have 2 images. And for the C4, we will add this grid template rows and save. And we have this column gap and row column count and all that. Great. Now let's go inside chat, and for chat let's add one more block. And let's add four images. This way we will be able to add 4 images, and for the ID I will use N, Y, Z, and ID is X. This way we will be able to change the image source. Now we have a single image for this block, and if we have 2 we have side by side, and if we have 4 we have this 4 image grid. Perfect. Well, this is it for now, and we will enhance the blocks or our bubble component as we go with real chat. And in next video we will continue with the sign in method. So this is it. See you in next video.